how we name them. Planes. These guys can be a little tricky to draw sometimes, but there's a little kind of, well, a trick that you can use so that it's not so bad. Think about a plane as a piece of paper, okay? If you were going to draw a piece of paper, okay? Well, the way that we do that is we make it look kind of a little 3D, okay? So it actually ends up looking like a parallelogram. You guys all know what a parallelogram is, right? Okay. So something kind of like that. And a plane, you need 3 points to name it. Okay? Because 3 points define a plane. You need 3 points to be able to describe where the plane is. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Now, let's say I've got these 3 points that are just kind of sitting in the plane. Okay, can you picture that? So if I had like 3 little dots just sitting on my piece of paper, there'd be 3 points that are sitting on the plane. Okay? And each one of those points needs to have a name. So we're up to, where are we in the alphabet? D. So let's say this is D, this is the point E, this is the point F. So that would be plane DEF, or whatever order you want to choose of those 3 letters. It could be plane FED, or EFD, or EDF, or whatever. Any combination is good. Okay. And then the little notation is this. If you don't want to write out the word plane, you can just do a tiny little picture of a parallelogram and then the 3 letters, and that's good too. It doesn't matter the order. Okay? DEF, EFD, whatever. It's all the same plane. It's got 3 points in it. As long as you've included all 3 of those, you're good. So I'll just do another one here. So E, DF, etc. Okay, you can keep switching the order around. Now, just like the line, what if I don't want to use points to name it? I just want to give it a name, give it a letter. You can do that. It's got to be the whole italicized thing again, so sometimes it's a little confusing to look at. I don't know how good your cursive is or how well you guys can read cursive, but that's the cursive letter G. So if you have a plane where it just has a letter in the corner like that, that would be the plane G. Okay? Oh, that's a G. So, and usually it'll be a letter you recognize. I mean, like if an R or an S or something, it'll look like the letter it's supposed to be, but it's going to be like cursive or italicized, that sort of thing. But the point is, you can use one letter. Now, here's the thing. With lines, they're lowercase. With planes, they're uppercase. All right? You really don't need to worry about that. Okay? You are not going to be naming these yourselves. You're going to be looking at pictures where they already have them named, and you have to be able to tell me what they are. Okay? So don't worry if you're like, oh man, I never did cursive, I don't know. Don't worry about it. They'll already be written there for you. You're just going to be able to copy it down. So that's planes. Segments, or line segments, technically, work pretty much just like lines. Okay? If you've got a segment, you've got to have a starting point and an ending point, right? And each of those 2 points are going to have a name. They're going to be called something. Well, we're up to G in the... No, wait, we already did G. We're up to H. So this will be the line segment HI. HI. Okay, so you could write it all out, line segment HI, if you wanted to do that. I'm not gonna. You can also do HI, but then on top of it, you draw a little line segment. And you don't even have to have the two little dots if you don't want. You can just put a little bar. A little bar on top is good. Okay, so, or, like if I switch the letters to, could look like that. Little bar on top. It's just showing you it's a segment. No little arrowheads on it, so you know it's a segment. Okay? So that works. Segments, they don't have the funny little italic names. It's just using the points because they start and end at points. Yeah, so that's it. Rays, kind of the same thing. The only thing about array is it starts at one point and then heads off in a certain direction, right? Array is a piece of a line, just like a line segment is. And to name a line or a line segment, you needed 2 points, right? An array is no different. You need 2 points to name it, but you've only got one to start with. So you need a second point somewhere on the array to help it. So like, I'm going to put one over there or something, okay? So this would be ray JK. JK. So you could do it that way. Or the notation for this one would be JK with a picture of a little ray on top of it. So one arrowhead, and that's it. Now, here's the big difference between rays and the other ones, the lines and the line segments. A ray has a specific direction to it, right? It starts at J and goes through K in that direction. It does not start at K and go through J, right? The way I have it drawn, has to start at J and go through K. So if I name it, I got to make sure that I describe that too. So the order of the letters this time does matter. All the rest of them, it doesn't matter. But in this one, it does. If I write it out, ray JK starts at J, goes through K. Same thing with this. Okay? If I flipped it around and made it KJ, that would imply that it starts at K and it goes through J, and that's not true. Okay? So this is it. These would be the only 2 ways you could write that one out. Okay? Now, that being said, if there are more than 2 points on the ray, as long as you're picking J, you can use whatever other point you want. So if there was like a point L, like right here, this is ray JL. That's the same thing. But you have to use the letter J to start it, though. Does that make sense? Whenever you name a ray, you have to have the letter it starts with first, and then just another one somewhere. Okay? So, naming, drawings, and all that. Now, since we're talking about rays, do have a phenomenon called opposite rays. So if you have 2 rays together, but they're going in exactly opposite directions. So Jake, let's see, you got L, M, N. Okay, so ray LM and ray LN are opposite rays. What do you notice about that, though? If you have 2 opposite rays together, what do they make? Yeah, a line. Exactly. Opposite rays always form a line. That's a theorem. So if I you like a picture or something and I ask you to identify a pair of opposite rays, what are you really looking for? A line. And then you can always take a line and break it into two rays then, and just describe those two for me. Okay, so that's kind of where we're going next. We're going to be looking at some pictures. I'll draw you some pictures that have points, lines, planes, segments, rays, all of that stuff in there, and then I see if you can identify some of these different things for me. Okay? And then we'll start talking about intersections and that sort of thing, and then we'll be done. So, okay.